Okay, we are in the new chapter, chapter 9. We finished with chapter 8 last time, I guess. And it's a big chapter. This chapter is called the Raja Vidya Raja Guhya Yoga. Why it is the yoga of king knowledge and king secret. King knowledge and king secret. We can translate it also the yoga of the secret, royal secret of royal knowledge. So let us look into this royal secret, what it is all about. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Idam tu te guhya tamam pravakshyam yana suyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajnatva mokshya se shubhat. By the way, to mention that there is a huge festival of Gita Jayanti, will be in Singapore this summer. So I am invited there to give workshops and presentations, 6 presentations in 1 week, by Hindu organization in Singapore, and by Sri Aurobindo Society. So it will be kind of dedicated to Gita studies. Singapore is interested in Gita somehow. Of course, they want to recover their knowledge which they lost. Long ago they were Indian. They belong to Indian tradition, and there are many Indians there. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. Anasuyave. Anasuya is Anasuyu is the one who is not complaining, who is steady. So to you who is not complaining, pravakshyami, I will tell this most profound secret, guhyatamam idam, jnanam, the knowledge, vijnana sahitam, together with discrimination. Yajnatva, knowing which, mokshya se shubhat, you will be freed from impurity, from darkness, from evil. Ashubha is that which is not shining. You will be freed from ordinary perception of things. The blessed Lord said, what I am going to tell thee, the uncarping, is the most secret thing of all, the essential knowledge attended which all the comprehensive, with all the comprehensive knowledge, attended with all the comprehensive knowledge, by knowing which thou shalt be released from evil. So we started chapter 9. So the blissful Lord wants to give him the knowledge, the royal secret. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam Pavitramidam Uttamam, Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Raja Vidya, this is the king knowledge. Raja Guhyam, the king secret. Pavitram, pure. Idam, this. Uttamam, the highest, supreme. Pratyaksha Vagamam, the direct pratyaksha, understanding, avagamam, dharmyam, dharmic, susukham, of the supreme bliss and happiness, kartum avyayam, to be done, to be, how to say, to do kartum, avyayam, to do the imperishable. So to make for the making of supreme bliss, imperishable, dharmic, understanding direct, this supreme knowledge, purifying the king's secret, the king knowledge. This is the king knowledge, the king secret, the wisdom of all wisdom, the secret of all secrets. It is a pure and supreme light which one can verify by direct spiritual experience. It is the right and just knowledge, the very law of being. It is easy to practice and imperishable. Susukham kartum, easy to practice, easy to do. Ashradadhana purusha dharmasya parantapa aprapyamam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So, but the Ashradadhana purusha, the purushas, the men who are void of faith, of yeah, the soul that fails to get faith in the higher truth and law, dharmasyasya parantapa, of this dharma, O parantapa, O Arjuna, not attaining to me, aprapyamam, must return into the path of ordinary mortal living. Nivartante mrityu sansara vartmani, on the path vartmani of sansara, of mrityu. So they come back to the path of death. Maya tatam idam sarvam. It is by me that all this is being spread. Jagat avyaktam murtina. This world in the form of avyakta, extended in the ineffable mystery of my being. Matsthani sarvabhutani. All these beings, sarvabhutani, are in me. Matsthani. Nachaham teshu avasthitah. And I am not in them. By me, all this universe has been extended in the ineffable mystery of my being. All existences are situated in me, not I in them. Now, this is a mysterious statement. Yeah? Now, we have to read one more, and then I will comment. Nacha matsthani bhutani pashyame yogam aishvaram. Bhuta bharinna cha bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavana. And yet all existences are not situated in me. Behold my divine yoga. Myself is that which supports all being and constitutes their existence. Now, that maybe this and yet is not very clear, because he just said that he is not in them, but they are in him. So, and here, nachamatstani bhutani, and one can translate, and yet it is not that all the beings are in me. Nachamatstani bhutani, and not in me these beings are. Pashyame yoga maishwaram. Look at my mystery yoga. Bhuta bharin, nacha bhutastho. I am the supporter of the becoming, not situated in the becoming, in the being. Mamatma bhuta bhavanah. But myself is supporting these becomings, these beings. Not me, but myself. Now, there is a distinction made between me and myself here. So, Sri Krishna, as the Supreme, as Purushottama, is not only his self. He's something beyond his self-existence, beyond his Sat. He is not only Sat, but he is also Asat, non-being. He is not only being, but he is non-being, and he is even beyond both, being and non-being. That's why he says, I am supporter of all the beings, not the one who is situated in them. But myself is the supporter of the being. I know it is confusing, but it is very important, highest knowledge. This is the secret knowledge.
So, if I may ask, so in me is the beyond, and the not me, where he's wanted to experience himself. It's the self that he's experiencing that is supporting the beings and and their existence.
Can you say,
that clearly?
Yeah, one more time? It would help somehow.
Right. I'm going back to what you first taught at the beginning for the first emanation. So if the being is present, as the beyond, the me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now the myself is that which supports it. The myself is that what is when he wanted to have the experience of himself, that other piece that's outside of him. Yet everything is within him, but that part is outside of him. I'm not verbalizing this right. It's caught up in my brain a little bit.
I understand. Yes, I understood what you're saying. Yeah, the self itself, the Atman, is the product of manifestation. Yeah? Even the Supreme Self, that Satchitananda, is not everything he is. Even that transcendental self may look like he is the being, the consciousness and bliss. What else he could be? Huh? But that's what he is. He is not all of it. He is also Asat. He can rest from his existence. And he is neither nor exclusively being or no being. So he is beyond both. He is the Purushottama. And that's what he says. All this is in me, not I am in him, in it.
Right.
The being and non-being, everything is in him.
Mm-hmm.
He is manifesting for himself this existence and non-existence through his consciousness and bliss and time and space. It is all happening within him. But he is not in it, as it were. It is his self which is supporting this manifestation, his being. But since he is not only being, but also non-being and beyond, then he cannot be totally there, yeah? Partially only. And that's what his self is about. It represents him here, supports this becoming here. And the idea that he will be here within would be too much to ask. It would not be possible. And maybe one day it would be possible, I do not know. But from this perspective, for him, the supreme, beyond being and non-being, to be within the time and space being, it would be in the becoming, would be a very daring proposition.
Right. So the practice then, if we were to look at this, the practice then is to be with him, in him, and not. So this is where the asat, we're living in the asat, is what you're saying, more or less.
We live in Sat part of him, yes. In Sat Chitananda Vijnana Manas Prana and Annam. This is the part we live in. And there is also Asat, where he is none of these, where he can rest from his own being. So being is not an all-inclusive concept.
Okay.
Being is, though we think of being as existence, as everything what is what it is, and that's why it is all-inclusive. But it is because we are within the being, that's why we think like this. But there is a state of consciousness which is going beyond being and beyond non-being. The real.
Yeah, this is important. It is important to get a good grip on this before we go forward. Yeah.
Well, I'm coming from a perspective of having previously studied Greek language, and you have commented in past sessions about how one would express is and is not both existing, and it seems to me as though even with the sophisticated Sanskrit language structure, he still struggles to get that concept to us. Because it is as you say, there's always something outside. But is there anything specific in the grammar that gives us a clue of this?
Well, he says in a very daring manner that all these becomings, all these beings are in me, not I am in them directly. This is shocking for this philosophy, because we know that the divine is within it, its creation. And now he says it is not. And then he says it is not even like that, it is something else. Look at my tricky yoga. Myself is the supporter of the becoming and staying within the becoming and supporting the becoming, not me. Now there's a distinction between myself and me. So there is self, there is the being, and there is somebody who is using this being to manifest.
Okay, thank you. But I also, in studying this, I noticed that the third person, the me, appears more often in Bhagavad Gita than I've seen it anywhere else in Sanskrit that I've studied. When in the ordinary discourse, one tends to discount what we would call in English the first person, I, me, and yet here makes great use of it.
Correct. So there is myself, Mama Atma, and there is me, who is different from Mama Atma, from myself. It is not myself, one word as in English, it's myself. Yeah? I have the being, and that is supporting all the becomings here. My being supports all the becomings, not me is within. I am always free from being and non-being, not determined by either.
Mm-hmm.
This, of course, our mind being born within this being and this becoming, it's a new concept. It is totally bewildering our mind. It is widening the scope. Yeah, even conceptually, it's nearly impossible to mentally to capture the concept to be beyond being and non-being. It's like another being there or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not the being, and it is not non-being.
So if I was speaking to that self, I could say, well, that's your self. But then if I was speaking about him, I would say his self. So, but I mean, maybe.
Correct, absolutely. Yeah. Very good. Language is carrying this through, especially Shakespearean languages. If you look how he speaks about, my mouth spoke truth and my eyes couldn't look at this. And he speaks in those terms, my eyes, my mouth, my word, carried away my mind and so on. You look at it as if all these faculties are independent from some self, who is watching it all the time. And it's not your body. It is not you. It is your body. It is not you speak. It is your mouth speaks. It is not you who is watching, looking. It is your eyes which are, dragging you into that trouble, looking for things, and you are somehow, this distance which Shakespeare brings in is profound. It's poetic, but it is also true psychologically. And when we read this, we are immediately uplifted in consciousness because we feel the presence of ourselves. My heart, my heart fell in love with someone, not me. And now I am here stuck with this kind of problem. I have to follow it.
How did I get here? How did I get here?
or to relay an instance from the world of small children when the 5-year-old says, "I didn't hit him," by which he means he didn't plan consciously to hit the other child, and so therefore, but even though his hand did the deed.
Exactly. It's very important that that intention or that kind of, was not there. And it happened because the body reacted or something happened automatically in the nature. The consciousness of the nature reacted and I was not there. I was not giving sanction for it, but I am not in control of my nature. So, and nature may lead me into the trouble. My faculties may lead me and express something which I will be wondering about. And even more, my outer nature will be wondering what my inner nature expresses, what my heart speaks, what my word speaks. My outer mind will be wondering and learning from it. I can teach myself. This dual nature which we have, is the result of this particular secret, the king's secret, which says that all this is in me, but not I am in it. We are always having freedom from everything we do or are. We are always free because of him. He is not within it. his self is supporting it, yes. Our self is supporting what is happening here in nature. But we are beyond, always beyond. Both.
We can almost say the same thing about our existence or our choices, that we are supporting, or myself, or wait a minute, yeah, myself is supporting the choices that I do. I guess no, didn't come
Correct.
out right. I had it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very nice.
There we go.
Yeah, yourself is supporting the choices. Yeah, yourself, your creation, your being, so to say, is supportive of everything what is becoming there. This is your dharma. This is your svabhava. This is your own nature, which is your deeper nature, spiritual nature of yourself, of your soul, is supporting. But you are even not that. You are even more something. Even that is, how to say, can be viewed and can be related to as the enterprise of someone who has no name, no being, and no non-being, which is beyond everything, transcendental to the transcendental.
Right.
This is the Gita's best message, the highest knowledge, the supreme secret, that there is a transcendental to the transcendental. There is a real being, the supreme, which is not only this Satchitananda, infinite being, consciousness and bliss, but also something which is free from them, and something which is free from even that freedom from them. It is real. It is not just existence. It's not just being. Yeah, mind is not used to this distinction from the being, because being and existence is the highest form of what is. But that is actually a presentation of the real, of the one who cannot be named, who cannot be defined by the verbs, or by the actions, or by the states of being or non-being. This was for me a revelation long ago when I read in Sri Aurobindo's essays on the Gita, that is chapter on three Purushas, of Vyakta, Avyakta, and Purushottama. The mutable, immutable, transcendental, and the supreme Purusha, beyond both. And Sri Aurobindo says that these two, the transcendental being and non-being, a transcendental being and this being in time and space, could not come into existence and be coherent and meaningful in relations if there would be no supreme being beyond both. There would be no possibility for them to relate or to be, or what for they are here, what for this Satchitananda here, what for this world in time and space here, if there is no supreme present beyond both and greater than both. There would be no possibility to manifest the individual at all. Individual is the product of this supreme being beyond both.
This really, for me, this is really the bridge to self. Then, of course, there's a practice when you get there, but this is beautifully explained. I mean, I can actually see it in my mind. This is just that total separation of who that is to what we want to be or connect to understand.
Mm.
We think, or we may say, I think I know myself from my activities in my life, and I interpret that. But that's just relating in such a way to the manifestations out there. They're either pleasing to you or not pleasing to you, and how you react, you come up with a conclusion, this is who I am. But then with this bridge, it's like opening a door to the self. And now this is a brand new adventure to explore, to understand the real self. But yeah, I'm limited by language, but yeah.
Absolutely. And by the way, our consciousness can know our transcendental self, because Satchitananda has that consciousness to know it. But our consciousness, Chit, so to say, the divine consciousness, cannot know him, who we are, that the real one. He knows himself, his self he knows through his consciousness. But who he really is, or is not applicable here, has to be crossed. Who he real without is, we do not know. We cannot know. We will never know. We will know only his being, his self, which it is his self which is supporting the becoming. We may know, we may realize his infinite self, infinite existence, but who he really is behind it, there are no means to know. And this is the message, that there is a real. All the world becomes real, all the becoming, all the non-becoming becomes real. Everything becomes real because there is a real behind.
Very interesting that by saying what you just did about we will never get to really know him, and it's almost like a freeing experience, because then our journey really puts the focus on us, that we can only really understand ourselves.
Correct.
Wow.
And that's what he wants.
There's no more. Yeah, that's what he. Wow. Thank you. That's a big permission. That's a beautiful connection. Wow. Right. There's no more like this quest to try and understand. It's like go and become and understand.
Right. And here it is given as a secret knowledge, as the highest secret, that he is real. So everything what his self or his existence and non-existence represents is him in his reality. But they are representatives. They are infinite, yes. They are even liberating ourselves, yes. But there is constantly someone supreme present in time and space, and beyond times and space, and even beyond both. Yeah. This transcendental to the transcendental is the message, which is really putting everything into the right perspective. Then we can understand Satchitananda, we can understand Asat, we can understand Nirvana, we can understand Nirguna Brahman and Saguna Brahman. Brahman, the spirit with qualities and without qualities. These are his poises, as Sri Aurobindo says. In these poises, in the poise of Saguna Brahman, he enjoys the infinite qualities of himself. And in the poise of the Nirguna Brahman, he rests from this enjoyment of his infinite qualities. is free from them. But he is neither nirguna nor saguna only, neither nor both put together. He is more than both of them. And this is something, of course, to think of. He is real.
It's almost like the duality of things. It's almost like a ladder, a stepping stones to understand, because beyond, every time you take a step and understand, there's always the beyond. But we need the opposites maybe to understand.
Exactly.
Then when we understand, we have to let it go, because it's always something beyond.
Yeah.
Wow.
And in that beyond where he is, there is no beyond, yeah, so to say. There is no mind to go there. There is no even divine consciousness to perceive that. Even that is limited now. There is no way to although we are real because of him, but there is no way to know him. The supreme, I mean, his self, yes. His yoga aishvaram. Well, that's why he says, this is my yoga, mysterious yoga. This yoga of the Ishvara, of the Lord, Aishvaram.
I have another question before we go on. As we go from one chapter to the next within the Bhagavad Gita, is the definition and vocabulary consistent? Do we find Purusha, Sat, Asat, for instance, meaning pretty much the same thing from one chapter to the next?
Yeah, Sanskrit holds the meaning. Yeah, Sanskrit is very systematic and will not shift the meaning easily. It can widen the scope. It can open the comprehension somewhere deeper. Yeah? Look into it, but linguistically, philologically, the terms will not change the meaning. Purusha will be Purusha. Purusha is always, you see, Purusha is on every level, from Sat to Annamaya Purusha, from the divine existence to the material body. So it is also Purusha. So there will be no shift. That's the beauty of this language. Yeah? It permits us to do impossible things for the mind. It's, as Sri Aurobindo says in Sanskrit, this spiritual phenomena, it is the only language where it was systematized. It is in systematic, how to say, picture. We can really access it with the mind which can rely on these terms.
Mm-hmm.
So our mind would not be bewildered. In other philosophies, it's very difficult to make because there is no system. The words are taken from the usage of ordinary language, and then they are, loaded with new meanings, and then you have to justify the usage of your terms. In Sanskrit, from the beginning, they are loaded and systematized. So they're just developing their own philosophies. It's a privilege of Sanskrit. And when you will know this language,
Yeah, thank you for that, Vladimir. That's your little intro to say, get back to studying Sanskrit.
Yes,
Thank you.
What I wanted to add. If you would know the Sanskrit, you would see this immediately, how regular and systematic it is. It is not doing some injustice to terms. Or later, you can find different systems, darshanas, such as Nyaya, for example, or Vaisheshika. Even they cannot really break this systematic approach to terms in Sanskrit. Yeah? It's very difficult to change this. Yeah? That's why it is always conducive to the right way of thinking, as it were. Even if you deviate, it will bring you back somehow. It will not permit you to go away from the core meaning of those terms. They're as if imprinted in them or something. They carry the system of etymons, of the roots, ideas, and cannot be totally violated. You can violate only approximately, and it gives only a flavor. It doesn't really change the whole approach. You have only, tastes of a little salt, a little sugar, and but a little pepper. But truly speaking, the substance does not change. It has its own gravity. It gravitates to that meaning always. Yatha kasha sthito nityam vayu sarvatrago mahan tatha sarvani bhutani matsthani ityupadharaya. So remember like this, or know it like this. As the wind is in the air, moving everywhere, though it being great, being powerful, but moves in the air, thus all these beings are staying in me. It's like the air in which everything moves, like the space which upholds everything within it. How can you get out of it? That is there. Sarva bhutani kaunteya prakritim yanti mamikam kalpa kshaye punastani kalpadau visrajamyaham. And all the beings, O Kaunteya, follow their own prakriti, their own nature, or my nature, mamikam. They follow my nature. Kalpakshaye, at the beginning of Kalpa, punastani, again they come, or again I create. Kalpadao. Kalpakshaye, at the end of the Kalpa, punastani, kalpadao, and at the beginning of Kalpa, visrajamyaham, I create them again. So there is these kalpas, and the beginning of Kalpa and the end of Kalpa with pralayas. So at the beginning of Kalpa, he creates all the beings, as it were. Literally, creates is a wrong word. Sri Aurobindo says, lose them forth. This is more correct. It is like you are injecting them or losing them, letting them go out of yourself, as it were. All existences, O Kaunteya, return into my divine nature, out of her action, into her immobility and silence, in the lapse of the cycle. At the beginning of the cycle again, I lose them forth. The whole prakriti, the whole self, is something he is releasing out of himself, as it were. It's like Big Bang, a release of all the universes in one point, as it were. But Mother somewhere mentions that there can be many universes, with different laws of existence, because his infinity is, we cannot fathom, we cannot comprehend. Even our universe is fundamentally infinite. But if there can be many such infinities, if you look at our stars and our universe, it's already a bewildering thing, no? Just think for a second that we live under the sky open to the stars, to this infinite space and light. Incredible. It's just incredible. We never have enough time to really comprehend this thing. When I was a child, I couldn't believe it that this is infinite over my head. I was looking at it with such a... I remember when I got bad marks in the first class in the school. I got two low marks, I remember, because it was one by mistake, other was I was naughty for behavior. And I was going home and I was saying, but what will happen? This infinite universe will stay anyhow. Nothing can happen. So I found my way out psychologically. I was 7 years old. Universe helped me not to worry. What do we know about this universe? Well, what do we know about ourselves, about the divine? It's all so vast and so profound.
Well, it almost seems like the way you put it that, escaping the life and birth and death syndrome, we get to move on into those other infinities, those other universes. Like get out of this grade, so we can move on. And it puts it in a little different perspective that this is like a finite set. It's not as bewildering as infinite until today. Saying that. So it's like, okay, here's the tools to get to know thyself and move beyond. And then there's other horizons or other universes or realities or rules to exist. We can explore, but we can't comprehend that from this spot here. We're going to get out of here.
Right.
Right. And it's not an escape. It's an understanding. It's like you come to that realization, then you're capable of realizing more, probably from that state of consciousness.
Right. I was looking for, of course, escape because I didn't want to bear the consequences, and I was a always clever boy, to find some kind of way out. And in this sense, the way out was not possible, only the highest. You go home, your father is waiting. There is no way out, only this. But I remember it vividly. I remember still the road. I remember that, that asphalt under my feet. It was a kind of a glimpse of the higher consciousness. Otherwise, I would not remember it for the rest of my life. It was the revelation of some kind. The crisis was too big, so I had it shifted my consciousness into a deeper perspective. And what it was funny, what followed afterwards, maybe it's not so funny, but my father, I was sure that I made everything wrong, and I was surprised. How could I make everything wrong in my mathematics class? Because I was good at mathematics, always good. And then suddenly I received the lowest mark 2. That means it's not acceptable, yeah? It's bad. We had 5 and 1 is very bad, and bad is 2. So, and my father then took and went to the school to check. And he went to the school, and what I did, I made a mistake. I made the first line correct. The first equation I solved correctly. And the second equation, I wrote the first equation again and decided it correct. And the third, I made the second, and so on. So the teacher, when the teacher was checking, she just saw the first is correct, the second incorrect, the third incorrect, and she just didn't even look. She just went through and crossed all my correct answers as incorrect. You understand what happened? And my father discovered that all my answers were correct. That was a big thing for the teacher, because my father was the person who was checking on how teachers work in the whole region. He was from the teacher had to apologize and to put 5 marks, the highest for my. So it was kind of interesting shift. But I got also low mark, bad mark for my behavior. But that was another thing. That was the girl with whom I was sitting in the first row. She was kind of teasing me. But that was another thing.
Well,
it's funny. Yeah. Great story.
Right. Okay, we can stop here for today and continue next time from number 8. The secret of the Lord He reveals to us. Okay, I will close with the mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santo Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Ariane.
See you.
Beautiful class. Thank you, Vladimir.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, everyone.